He's a fun young man. He's always been one of these very spirited kids, had very, very generous heart, very outgoing, one of these people that just makes everybody around him feel good.
From the time he was a little boy, Matt had a passion for sports. Hockey and football kept him busy through high school, and he took his love for football to college, playing at Lawrence University. The end of Matt's freshman year came, and with it, the beginning of something that would change his life.
He called me and said he had double vision during his finals. He was out in college in Wisconsin, and that was my first clue that something wasn't right, because it wasn't blurred vision, it was double. The next day I had him into his primary care physician, who felt that everything was fine. I still didn't believe everything was fine. I took him to a good friend who was an optometrist, and they found that he had papilledema, which is swelling behind the eyes, which is another classic sign of a brain tumor.
You get really scared, and you kind of don't know what's going on. It's kind of it's a shocker, you know? You're like, how could this happen to me?
All of a sudden, we're confronted with a brain tumor. The initial diagnosis came back with, with a very, very poor prognosis. So what do we do?
I didn't think he'd be around at Christmas. I was thinking all these different emotions, but I was really devastated and thinking, that he's not going to live. This is horrible.
The news was hard to take for everyone, including Matt's younger brother, Brian.
My brother, he's always been a mentor in my life. Growing up, always been close. He's protected me, especially, me being different and all that.
But no one could protect Matt from cancer. He had a very aggressive brain tumor called anaplastic astrocytoma, and despite his prognosis, Matt kept a positive attitude. Local doctors moved quickly to try to get the tumor out.
He had surgery the next morning. It was very quick.
The surgery was over, but Matt wasn't out of the woods yet. As a family, they decided St. Jude Children's Research Hospital would give Matt the best chance of survival.
When I worked at West Virginia University in pediatric oncology, a very dear colleague of mine was a pediatric pathology, and his name is Jess Jenkins. And he is here now working in pathology, and so as soon as I knew we were dealing with something bad, I called him and asked him if he'd look at the pathology for me. And then he called and said, this is the place to come. We see more brain tumors than anywhere in the country, and boy, are we glad we did.
I had radiation for 6 weeks, and then I had chemo for 6 months.
He beat the odds. The cancer went into remission, and Matt got a second chance at life.
I think a lot of people would agree with me that this place is the best place for treatment in the world.
St. Jude is the world's premier pediatric cancer research center. Doctors here have treated children from all 50 states and more than 70 foreign countries.
I've seen hundreds of kids that have a chance because they've come here. They will survive because they've come here.
Overall, the survival rate for childhood cancers was less than 20% when the hospital opened in 1962. Today, more than 70% of children survive thanks to research done at St. Jude.
There was no question that, the expertise here and the technology for his radiation was leaps and bounds above anywhere else we could have gone.
It costs more than $1 million a day to keep the hospital running. It can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to treat each patient, but at St. Jude, parents don't have to worry. St. Jude is the only pediatric cancer research center in the country where families never pay for treatments not covered by insurance, and families without insurance are never asked to pay.
They will fly out one parent and the child at no cost. They provide you a place to stay. They provide money for food. They provide transportation. And if you have insurance, they will take the insurance and write off the rest.
You're dealing with a child with cancer, but that's one huge burden you don't have to deal with.
St. Jude has the only brain tumor program in the world that is devoted entirely to children. The type of cancer Matt was fighting has a 40% survival rate. Overall, brain tumor survival rates are going up, but it takes money and research to raise those numbers.
It's extremely important that we get community support for the work we do. We support our patients in a way that no other institution in the United States can support our patients. The other most important thing is that we publish all our scientific results, which are available to the doctors and even in the local community for them to use for their own patients.
I was going to a Home Depot, and I drove a mile and a half past it, pulled over into a side of the road before I passed out. A cop pulled up behind me a couple minutes later and called an ambulance.
Just a few months before, Matt returned to St. Jude for his regular checkup. There were no signs of cancer. But a few months later, after the scare behind the wheel, an MRI revealed devastating news. The cancer was back.
Getting that news was definitely a huge shock. One, because he was in remission.
It's a very serious illness, and it's a very aggressive tumor. We're all still keeping our hope.
Some of these things may have a 5% 5-year survival, but Matt's kind of told us that, a statistic is a statistic, and if I'm in that 5%, that's great. But I'm not gonna live my life like there's a 95% chance that I won't be here.
Matt is facing his diagnosis with courage and is looking toward the future, which includes going back to college.
I want to finish up and get a business degree, and then probably get an MBA after that.
Matt's plans also include starting a new life with his girlfriend, Sarah.
I'll be getting married probably in August coming up of next year, and we've dated for a long time. She was with me through my first treatment. She's staying down here with me through this one too.
Is he a fighter?
Oh yeah, definitely. And he has this optimism that if you try to be upset, he goes, "Oh, you can't be upset. Don't be upset about it. Don't waste your time being upset." So he supports us, I think.
He kind of beat the odds the first time, and then he wants to do it again, and so we're there for him.
I have a lot of admiration for him because he has a wonderful amount of courage and strength and a real positive attitude about everything going on right now.
I don't know if he would be here without St. Jude.
We're very positive about the future. We can't, as a family, thank St. Jude enough for what they've done for us.
There's not a better cause in the world.